would
What
be
if it's a
super
bomb?
easy to follow.
Oh, it's so easy to follow.
Bomb trap.
Isn't that okay? See, that's what I can already tell that your brain automatically starts getting suspicious of everybody when you are in that mode, right?
Yep.
So like you can conjure up a bad case scenario for everything that you see.
Everything.
You need to be a writer. Well, you are a writer. Or you
I need to write more.
You need to write more. We can get on that. Yes, we do.
We do.
Why don't we have a PI series together?
I don't know, but we should.
Oh, yes! We should do that. Oh my God. Okay, what was that?
I was just saying, the thing that you get paranoid about is you feel like your subject, the person that you're following, has surely seen you because you've been following them forever.
And you sort of have probably like a guilty conscience because you know what you're doing, so you assume they do.
And you're parked behind them, you're parked across the street, you're parked, driving back and forth to make sure they don't leave. And just think how stupid somebody is to not notice that they've been being
followed for 12 hours?
We watched one guy off and on, I kid you not, for his parents. They live in San Antonio. We watched him off and on for over 4 years. Never, ever knew we were there.
I mean, do you think that most of us could be watched by anyone at any given time and we are freaking clueless?
Yeah.
Like we don't pay any attention to what's going on around us, right?
Most people don't. Most people don't.
I mean, how could you have someone as adorable as you are following you for 4 years and you don't notice?
It's the hats we wear.
It's the costumes.
Yes.
The different sunglasses.
I will say that there is definitely a niche, special place for women as private investigators.
Well, we gotta run a yellow light.
It is.
Hold on for the ride.
A lot of things that a woman can get away with that a man can't. For instance, if you're waiting for an individual to pick a child up from school and you've got to sit in that school parking lot, if you're a guy,
right?
Somebody's seen you sitting there,
right,
for an extended period.
It's a little weird.
Approached, right? But women typically do not. Women have intuition, about people, usually a gut feeling or an instinct, and male PIs do as well. But women just, by proxy, being a woman, they really can be a lot more free with their investigations.
Well, do you look less guilty when you have a friend sitting in the car with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are lots of times when Frank and I will be in the same vehicle and we'll follow an individual together rather than, it's just nice to have that second set of eyes in the car, and you do look less conspicuous. So if we've got somebody that we know frequents a bar with somebody that they're cheating with, well, it's going to look better for Frank and I to go into an establishment following that individual together than it is for him just to go in there and sit, or me to go in there and sit. You're going to lessen or reduce your being approached by drunk people in a bar. They're more likely to leave you alone if you're in there as a couple. So you can just sit and watch people that you need to watch. And it's the same.
And people watching is a normal thing anyway. So you don't have to look like you're just totally a stalker.
Right.
What do you do? Like, this is my ultimate question, which you've talked about this privately, but so you're in a stakeout and you're having to sit. Do you really what do you do when you have to use the bathroom? Like
you literally bring containers to pee in. Yeah, you have to pee in your car.
And you can't leave.
You can't leave. If you can't leave, you can't leave. That's the other good thing about working in tandem. If it's a case where somebody's going to be working out for an hour and you really got to pee, one will stay on and the other one can pull off, and we'll relieve each other that way. Because like when you're following in the city like this, it's not conducive for me to pull over and it just isn't. You're going to get seen.
Right.
Where if you're sitting, I put up everything in every window.
Right.
So it's very private.
Right.
And anyway, you master a method and it's not gross at all. It's just a necessity. You have to do it.
And you have to have good aim, apparently.
Well, yeah, you get
a canister.
An big open mouth jar.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking water bottle. Yeah, that would be easier.
No, a water bottle.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be able to aim.
Yeah.
Plus, I'd be so paranoid that someone would walk up that I would be like a fumbling mess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
is
would
the
be
first
bad.
time you have to do that. It is unnerving. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay, so if you're going to be sitting for a while, like I would think, for me, if I was going to be at stakeout for a while, I would feel like it was like I was traveling. Like I have to have tons of junk food when I travel,
Yes.
in case I get stuck on the plane for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So
We always
how do
pack.
we prepare?
We pack a cooler full
Okay.
of water bottles, or for Frank it's tea, and snacks. So you want protein bars, almonds, stuff that's not going to be too heavy but keep you full, right?
Right.
Keep you awake. And then your pee bottles.
Make sure they stay in
Make
a
sure
different.
you have all your chargers, you know, for your camera,
Okay.
for your phone, all of that stuff. Make sure you've got we use digital recorders to keep notes. And if I'm with Frank and he's driving, then I'll just enter my notes in on my notepad in my phone, because then I can just email to
So do you
myself.
timestamp everything? Like they did this at this time, they did this at this time?
Everything, if it matters. If it matters, absolutely.
Like if you're trying to establish what, a routine or
Yeah, and then you want to show your client, you know, proof
right?
that you were working the case when you said you were. There are a lot of PIs out there who don't. They'll be hired for surveillance and just say they couldn't find the individual or whatever, and they don't ever just really do it. So we're gonna let him stay in that lane for a minute.
Yeah. He
There's
just
a lot
changed
of
lanes and we don't want to be
Traffic
too obvious.
behind us, so you don't want to let him creep up too far and get back in behind him so that you can't turn when he turns.
Right.
We may have that come up here in a minute, but I'm going to let this white car get behind me, in front of me, and then I'll get in. You got to have a car with a lot of pep. This Jeep has a lot of pep. It'll get it.
Well, and then you also said you want an older car, something
That
that's not
blends
going to
in.
stand out, something that blends in.
Because you have to do a lot of things to your vehicles that... Is he turning?
Nope.
Nope.
I can see him.
Good.
This is
See?
another good reason, I guess, you would have two people, because
Yep.
you can see on either side of the
Great vantage point.
the car in front of you. And now, if he was nervous at all for some reason, maybe he can settle down a little bit,
That's right, because
we're not now directly behind him.
Yeah, we just got one.
And
car
we're going to be
between
stopped
us.
at another stoplight, so he's not going to be looking at us for the next several minutes.
Now we're getting into lots of traffic, and this is where it gets tricky. It's very easy to lose somebody.
One of the things I think is really interesting from talking to you, though, is, you know, whenever we watch PI shows, okay, wait, okay, no, he's not. Whenever we watch, sorry, I'm trying to do things at once. Whenever you watch PI shows, it's usually, they're always, you know, investigating a murder or a crime or something, and you do that to some extent. But I love that you also have clients that you're not trying to prove that they're guilty, you're trying to prove that they're innocent. I mean, you're
Right.
trying to get them off the hook, sort of, which is a totally different way you could go with characters. Is they're not trying to catch the bad guys, they're trying to free the good guys.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm trying to think of it. We have had cases. I can think of two immediately. One, a husband hired us, and another one, the wife hired us. Thought that their spouses were cheating, and they weren't.
Mm.
We watched them enough
Mm-hmm.
that we could say without a doubt they are not cheating on you. You just need to go get some counseling.
You're paranoid.
You know?
Yeah.
You're not taking care of your family, and you don't know what's going on. You
Mhm.
assume the worst,
Mm-hmm.
and that's typically the profile of the individuals.
What does your day really consist of? Do you spend a lot of time in your car doing this, or do you spend more time doing computer type research, or making phone calls, or all of the above? Or
I would say all of the above, and like I was saying before, the work comes in seasons. It seems like you'll have a season where you're doing a lot of surveillance.
Mhm.
You'll have a season where you're doing a lot of interviews, fact finding, and that requires a lot of database work, and that's my specialty. I would much prefer to do that than
be out doing this.
be out doing this. Yeah,
Why?
just because of the whole peeing factor. For being honest.
The P factor would be a big factor
Pee
for
factor
me.
matters.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, it does matter. I mean, when you consider not only the, you know, Mother Nature side of it and needing to do all that, but also just sitting for a long period. Like, how do you keep yourself, you obviously have to watch the car or watch the door or watch to make sure, how do you keep yourself engaged for that long? Like,
I will tell
and
you,
attentive.
Yeah, your adrenaline is so high
Just turn
when you're
left.
doing this. You don't ever get complacent. I can promise you. If you're doing your job right,
Really?
you don't ever get complacent. No, your adrenaline's going. It's just kind of like fishing. I mean, you never take your eye off the ball.
Right.
And
Boy, she's trying not to get this red light. Oh, you did it. Good job.
booyah.
How many speeding tickets have you ever gotten?
Well,
And what do you do if a cop pulls you over?
not many, and normally it's really great. Like if we're working around town or near where we live, or even in Norman, we do have a really good relationship with law enforcement. And if you're any good PI should, they're
Right.
You know, you're working toward the same goals typically.
Right.
Anyway, they'll just